Hey, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader here. Just got to answer a lot of basics and give you some links if you want to learn from me. We're a little overwhelmed lately because, frankly, I have the most millionaire students. And so a lot of people are being like, whoa, I actually want to learn from you. Or you see me on, the Steve Harvey show or with my Larry King interview or my speech at Harvard on YouTube is going viral. And it's awesome that you guys want to learn and you're coming to me, but I have to take this time to just give you some basic links. We'll still respond to everybody personally, but at the same time, it's good for you to have an overview of just some basics that I think will really help you in your journey. I want more millionaire students, but at the same time, I have to focus on teaching. I give all these live webinars, I'm making all these trades still. I'm still trading, okay? In the first 2.5 months of 2017, I've already made nearly $100,000 in trading profits, and it's not easy. Most traders lose, but at the same time, I do have several millionaire students. I just met actually one of my upcoming millionaire students, Stephen Ducks, who found me via Instagram. He liked my car, my Lamborghini, and he found me and he studied up. And now, 1 year later, since he became a challenge student, 1 year and 1 month, he began with 27,000. He just passed 900,000 in profits. Or my top student, Tim Grittani, who I actually just interviewed last night. I made a little video. I'll post it soon. I'm here actually on a trip with several of my top millionaire students, and I'll tell you more about that soon. But my top student, Tim Grittani, has taken $1,500 and now turned it into over $4 million in 5 years. Not on any one lucky play, but on thousands and thousands of trades. Sometimes we lose, but we adapt and we learn from our losses. But first, you have to start to learn. And everybody wants to be a millionaire, but you don't know the steps that you need to get there. So this is a basic video lesson on just, giving you some starters. You can always choose how dedicated of a student you'll be. Don't feel like you have to study 10 hours a day. I have some students like that. I also have some students who study 10 minutes a day. All I want you to do is start your educational journey because it is going to take years. You don't make $1 million all in a week or a month. And you should understand that trading and stock trading and penny stocks and short selling and day trading, everything that I do is very speculative. So if you don't study and if you don't have the proper mentality from the get-go, you're going to lose. And as tough as it is for me to create millionaires from scratch, it's impossible if you have the wrong attitude. So if you do have the wrong attitude and I call you out on it, I suggest you change. Because the cool thing about being real in an industry full of scams is I get to choose my students. And I have zero time for BS, zero time for laziness, zero time for negativity these days. If you think that, oh, I see somebody else being a millionaire, that only happens to other people, that'll never be me, I don't want to work with you because you need to actually believe that you can do it. And if you actually study enough and you see these patterns and you trade long enough, you will understand that. But you do need some faith in yourself. And I know that your friends and your family, everyone's going to say penny stock trading is bad and stock trading is bad. Well, guess what? If you don't believe in yourself and you give in to peer pressure, you'll never find out what you're capable of. And what I've learned from my top students, not just my millionaire students, but my six-figure students and my five-figure students, is that anybody can do this from anywhere in the world, man or woman. If you're in America, if you're in Europe, if you're in Asia, it doesn't matter. You need an internet connection, you need dedication, and you need strategy. So let's get to some basics. I just want to put all that out there because I'm going to get tons of messages and I'm just going to send everybody this video from now on so that you're on the right page from the start. If you want to learn from me, you go to timothysykes.com/plans. Okay? This is my basic plans, my challenges for my most dedicated students. You have to apply. Even if you want to just go and be a challenge student, we don't accept everybody. In fact, we reject most people because this gets you into my community with my top millionaire students. My millionaire students don't just post a screenshot here or there like some of these, BS millionaires out there. We actually show every single trade that it took to get to millionaire status. And they also help me teach. So this community is for my most dedicated students. If you don't have the time, it's okay. We also have the more do-it-yourself plans, Tim Alert, which is just $75 a month, or Penny Stocking Silver, which is $150 a month. I highly recommend Silver because it comes with this 4,000 plus video lesson library. 4,000 plus videos sounds overwhelming. They're only 5 minutes each. So we're talking a little over 300 hours of study for the entire thing. And this is a chronological, historical guide to every trade that I make, good or bad, every trend that I see happening. And I've been doing this for several years. So I highly encourage you to study the past. Studying the past is key to your future. I know that's cliche. I know it's corny, but it's true. I am a glorified history teacher because if you study recent trends and you learn from every single trade, you get better. You're better prepared. People ask me, what should I invest in? Invest in yourself. Invest in your future self and study the past. Set aside time. I don't care if you have a job or if you're in school. You can study at night. You can study on weekends. Try to fit it in. I have a lot of students, Ducks, for example, who just turned 27,000 into 900,000 in 1 year, which is crazy. Don't think that you're going to do that. But he studies so much. He studies on the toilet. He studies even while he's driving. He puts the video lessons on Bluetooth, he said. Be careful when you're driving and studying. He actually just got his license suspended. And I'm like, Ducks, you're almost a millionaire. I need you to stay alive, okay? Don't drive. Buy a driver. You can afford it now. But that's what you have to do. We're all scientists here. That's the way to think of this, okay? I'm a scientist, you're a scientist. And we're testing different theories. And then we're refining, and then we're optimizing, and then we make money. I know you just want hot stock picks, and a lot of you guys watching this are like, what are you talking about? I'm not a scientist. I just want to learn to make money, dude. This is the mentality that you have to have. You have to test different theories. You have to test different strategies. You and I, whoever you are, whoever's watching this, we are all different. So what's worked for me might not work for you. We have different personalities. We have different strengths and weaknesses, and you have to find what works for you. So that's what makes trading and that's what makes teaching trading so difficult. But at the same time, if you are prepared and you understand this, you have the right mindset from the get-go. Tim Alerts is good too. If you don't have time necessarily to watch all the video lessons, I give a few free bonus video lessons to Tim Alert subscribers every now and then. But most importantly, you get access to the chat room with 1,000 plus traders. We have the largest chat room. You get my nightly 5 to 10 stock watch list. Lately, it's been 15 to 20 stocks because the market has been on fire. And you also get text message and email alerts every time I make a trade, or even when I don't make a trade. Sometimes I'm sending out alerts like, be careful with this stock. I wouldn't touch it here. It's going up too much or too quickly. It's good to know when not to trade. It's not just about hot stock picks. Again, it's about learning different patterns and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. So you choose your level right here on timothysykes.com/plans. But I highly encourage you to watch my video lesson library. It's really going to help you. Also, watch my 35-hour How to Make Millions intro guide. Okay, this is my single best DVD. You go to howtomakemillions.com and you can watch this. You can see some reviews. Everyone loves it. It was only actually supposed to be 10 hours and then 12 hours and 20 hours, and I just kept adding because I wanted it to be comprehensive. All of this goes to charity. Some of you guys are like, I don't want to pay for your education. I'm just going to learn on my own. I hate that when people think that I just teach in order to make money. So I have not made a dime off this DVD, and this took me nearly a year to do. But frankly, I love it. This has grown my charity, and people who study it, you know, you have no excuse not to study it, and it helps raise money for charity. So watch my 35-hour How to Make Millions guide. Also, if you want to use the best software, you go to stockstotrade.com. Stocks to Trade, we keep it very simple, okay? Stockstotrade.com, and it's a software program that literally cost my team and I 7 figures to design. You can watch the whole video, but it's all the tools that you need to watch the market every single day and find the hottest stocks. There are scans, there's breaking news, there's high of the day, low of the day. There's all sorts of different tools. And if you really want to maximize how to use this platform, you go to stockstotrade.com/pro. And you will see this video. And this is actually one of my students, Tim Bowen. He's a part-time trader, so you don't necessarily have to trade all the time. He makes roughly $50,000 a year just trading part-time. He has a family. He's a great family guy, and he'll teach you how to really optimize this software. So if you want to learn from him, you go to stockstotrade.com/pro. He's really, been on the inside of this development process with this software. It's fantastic. Now, Getting to trading, okay? These are my two recommended brokers. E-Trade, the minimum to open an account, I believe, is $500. But if you want to short sell, which means that you want to bet against stocks, and because we're trading penny stocks, we know that most of these penny stocks will fail. So betting against them is actually a pretty good strategy. You need $2,000. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry that it costs so much. Some of you guys are like, well, I have $100. Save up, okay? I don't know how some like totally broke people think that they're going to learn the stock market and trade in the stock market. I understand that there's a lot of companies out there that will offer you leverage, like just open an account for $100 and you can utilize all our leverage and you can start trading with thousands. I don't use leverage. I don't like to borrow from companies or anybody else. Save up, okay? Be real with yourself. And also understand that trading is speculative. So no matter how hard you study, you will probably lose in the beginning. Tim Grattani, my top student, $1,500 and over $4 million now in 5 years. He lost consistently for the first 9 months. So if he's losing consistently, guess how you're going to do for the first 9 months or so. But the key is learning, adapting, sticking with it. And then month 10, month 12, month 15, month 20, it gets easier. That is the journey that you have ahead if you take this seriously. I don't want anybody thinking, oh, Tim, I'm just going to study and learn for maybe a month or 2 or 3 months. Let me make some money and let me see if it's real. If you have any doubts whether this is real or if I'm real or if my millionaire students are real, don't bother me. I have no time for doubters. It's not that I am trying to be a dick and offend you. It's just, frankly, I'm overwhelmed by people who do, want to learn and they are dedicated. So anybody who's not, trust me, you're doing us both a favor by just quitting now. I know it sounds weird. I know people think, oh, Tim, you should be nicer. You should have the most number of students. I can't deal with the most number of students. I prefer quality over quantity. So if you have no money, don't learn. If you think that you can't really learn for 6, 9, 12, 20 months, don't start in the first place. This is going to take a lot of time and effort. E-Trade, I believe, also is only open to certain countries. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Interactive Brokers is my second broker, and they're a little more expensive, but frankly, they're the best broker in my opinion. I don't get paid anything by Interactive Brokers or E-Trade. In fact, both of them kind of hate me because one of my key rules that I teach is that you don't need to trade as much as you think you do. You have to think of yourself as a retired trader and only come out of retirement when there's a truly great trade. And that kind of mentality doesn't fly with these brokers because they make their money off commissions. So they want you trading all the time. For me, I don't think you should be trading more than 3 or 5 times per week because the best plays pop up every now and then, not all the time. And so a lot of you guys worry about the PDT rule, the pattern day trader rule, which prevents you from making more than 3 day trades per week. I think that's more than enough, especially in the beginning. And a day trade is not an overnight trade, so you can actually make unlimited overnight trades. I'll teach you all that. Again, you have to watch my How to Make Millions intro guide if you want to really learn. And I encourage you to do this. This is the foundation. A lot of you guys are trying to ask me questions, one-off questions here or there, and I'm pointing you to this guide. This is your foundation. Watch this guide, then ask me questions. Almost all of your questions are answered in this 35-hour guide. This is why I made it. But anyways, Interactive Brokers minimum is $10,000 to open an account. The good news is they're open to a lot more countries than E-Trade. And if you're under 26 years old, there's a cool little loophole where I believe the minimum is just $3,000 to open an account. But most importantly, don't feel as if you need to trade right away. Study first, okay? You do not need to get into the market and get your feet wet right away. You need to start thinking and you need to start learning. I have a lot of students who just study all my DVDs. I have many more DVDs. This is just an intro, but they're studying my DVDs. The challenge students are getting live webinars and archive webinars from my top millionaire students. And studying is good. You have to think of yourself as kind of like a med student where, med students first year as a medical student, you're not like, hey, when can I operate on a body? Yeah. They're like, no, I have to learn for several years and see how to become a good doctor. And then once I learn everything, then I can operate, because if you start trading right away with no knowledge, your patient, in this weird analogy, your patient, which is your trading account, is going to die because you don't know what you're doing. If you want to practice, the cool thing with stocks to trade, if you go to stockstotrade.com, you can paper trade and you kind of use like fantasy money, and you can, learn the ins and the outs of different volatility and different, moves and stuff like that. But it's not a full education because you're not playing with real money. Once you start playing with real money, you'll learn trading is a lot more difficult because you're not just competing in the stock market, you're really competing against yourself and your emotions. And it's tough when real money, especially later on when big money is on the line. So even if you do have money and you want to be like, oh, Tim, I want to go all in, start small. Okay. I just did an interview with Tim Grittani last night, and I'll post that video. It's an hour-long plus video. But he was saying he was thankful that he only started with $1,500 in the beginning because it allowed him to test and tinker. And I know $1,500, it's not that small to some people, but you got to save up. Okay. You need to have at least $1,000 or $2,000 to really understand the ins and the outs, and try to make $100 or $200 or $300 on a trade and try to grow that exponentially. A lot of people think that it's impossible to grow accounts exponentially and penny stocks are BS and I'm BS. Well, as more and more of my millionaire students come forward, and I have a few students who frankly don't want to be public yet, but as more and more people show all their trades and you see that this is real, yes, you can grow your accounts exponentially, but you have to be very methodical and meticulous with this. This is not due to luck. This is not due to any one or two hot picks. We're trading thousands of stocks and we're screwing up hundreds of times. And you have to learn how to screw up and minimize your losses and cut losses quickly. So don't feel as if you need to trade right away. Study first. And especially, let me change this. You don't need to trade big right away, okay? Even if you have $100,000 and you say, screw all these minimums, Tim, I got $100,000. Start small. Start with just a small amount of money and start tinkering. That is the proper mindset. And some of you guys who do have $100,000 and you're like, screw this, Tim, I'm just going to learn on my own. A lot of them come back to me 3 months, 6 months, 9 months later, and they say, Tim, I should have listened to you. I should have learned from you. I don't know what I'm doing. I just lost X, amount. And I hate that. I'm not like an I told you so kind of guy. It's just that you have to learn the rules that I teach one way or another. I never had a teacher. So my whole goal for me is to be the teacher to you that I never had. And you can either learn through trial and error, the way that I did over several years, and I've made so many boneheaded mistakes over the years, or you can learn from me, and I've organized all of these lessons, and I've structured them, and my team has really been amazing. I have 40 plus employees now, and we're all geared to helping you become my next millionaire student. That's what drives us. That's what drives me, and it's kind of cool. But this is the most important point on this entire page. All of my millionaire students studied their butts off for several months before making big money. Okay? You cannot go big right away. You cannot cheat your way to success. You cannot say, oh, Tim, I get everything in month one. You don't. Okay? There's a lot of newbies out there that think that they're very smart and very successful because they've been in this bull market. This bull market is nearly a decade long. I've made money in bull and bear markets. A lot of these newbies have not. So be very, very careful when you think that you know everything, because the market will humble you and bring you back down to size real quick. And I pity a lot of people who are learning from these newbies, these non-millionaires. There's a lot of traders out there who claim to be experts. They don't show all their trades publicly. They don't show their income tax returns publicly like I do. They don't have millionaire students, and yet they think that they're experts. You only find out too late after you lose big that, wait a minute, you're not as smart as you think you are. And I'm not necessarily the smartest trader or the best trader in the world, but I have been around for 2 decades. And that kind of experience helps me see how to make money safely. That is the key. It's not just about making money, it's about doing it the right way. When I post this video with Tim Grittani, he was saying how even though he made some money, in his like second and third year trading, he made a lot of money. He was doing things the wrong way, and it caught up to him in year 4, year 5. And then he, had to adapt, and fortunately he did because he's a great adapter. But you don't want to learn bad habits. And if you learn bad habits, they're going to catch up to you. You cannot cheat your way to success. Everything comes back to you. So for me, my goal is to get you on the right path from the start. That's what this video is all about. That's what, my How to Make Millions guide is all about. Giving you guys the right foundation to think properly. And when, yes, it does take more time. Yes, it does take more effort, but it's the safe way of making millions of dollars. The way that my top students and I trade, it's not very stressful because we don't use leverage. We cut losses quickly if we're disciplined. Sometimes we make mistakes. We're human, we're emotional. But the way that we do it, trading these volatile stocks, I think is the best way possible. And that's why I'm so proud of this business. That's why I work ridiculous hours, because I enjoy it and I enjoy meeting all of you guys in person too. I do one annual event per year. This year in 2017, it will be in Orlando, Florida in September 2017. If you're interested for an early bird spot, email admin@timothysykes.com. This is going to be my 10th year conference, so it's a big one. And I only want the best students, the most dedicated students in mid-September. We'll give you more details soon, but this is what I do. You can learn online. You can come to Orlando if you want to learn in person. I also teach in person with Market Mastery. If you want to take your game to the next level, it's like 2 days of intensive live training with just like a dozen students. If you want that, email admin@timothysykes.com and in the title write Mastery, Mastery. The next one that we're having, I believe, is in early June in Miami. And then we're doing one in Europe in July, and then New York or Miami in October. So we do one mastery event every few months, but it's good for you to learn in person too. But, you can also learn online. We have so many different ways of teaching. Every single day, especially lately in this hot market, there's just so many plays, and it's all about getting you guys to capitalize on these plays the best you can, taking the meat of the move. We're never trying to figure out the exact bottom or the exact top, because you can't, okay? This is not an exact formula. This is more of an art than an exact science, and that's frustrating for a lot of people. They like exact numbers like mathematics. Okay, 5 plus 7 always equals 12. 5 plus 7 never equals 14. That's incorrect math. But in the stock market, trends change, charts change. Some of the worst fundamental companies that have like no revenues, their stocks can spike the fastest. And a lot of value investors get freaked out by this. They're like, wait a minute, how does this work? Every company should move based on a specific value. The stock market is not based on specific values. It's based on hype and perception. And frankly, you can take advantage of that because exact values would be boring. There would be no opportunities. You could just theoretically say, okay, add up all the company's assets and the stock price should be this. Everybody would be working off the exact same formula. There would be no volatility. The stock prices wouldn't move. But in reality, a lot of stuff is factored in. A company might have bad news, but the stock price might already anticipate it because people know that the bad news is coming. And then when the bad news hits, the stock goes up. There's a thing called buy the rumor, sell the news. You might get all excited about upcoming good news, and then when the good news hits, the stock does nothing because everybody already anticipated it. That's what makes the stock market tough. And I must remind you before I close this video, 90% plus of traders lose money. There's been several academic studies. So don't think that everybody's becoming millionaires. This is such an easy game. If you want to be part of the 10% of us who consistently profit, and my top students and I win roughly 60, 70% of the time. None of us win 80, 90, 95% of the time. So don't think that this is easy. But if you want to become part of the consistently profitable, you're going to have to over prepare. You cannot under prepare. You cannot just wake up 1 minute before the stock market opens and go into my chat room and say, hey, what's the hottest stock? Let me trade that. This is not gambling. Okay, this is not like going to Vegas and putting it all on red or black and doubling your money or losing everything. You can learn to cut losses quickly. A lot of people are scared of stock trading. Why? You can get out of stocks anytime you want if you're trading the right stocks. You have to be careful of illiquid stocks. There's a lot of stocks with promising technologies and good products, and their stocks barely trade. And I get probably 20 to 30 emails a day from people who say, hey, Tim, I know you teach all these chart patterns and all these rules, but ignore those for a second. Just look at this company. I really like this technology. I don't give a shit about any company or their promising technology. Okay? I don't believe any of these penny stocks. I don't believe anybody on Wall Street. And I know that might be cynical to you guys, but that's the way to think. I care more about price action and chart patterns. And if the technology is good, that's very nice because then the story can spread and it can, lure in more people who think that this company is going to be amazing. Most penny stock companies fail, and you have to understand that. And having the right mindset and the right approach will save you millions of dollars over the years. That said, this is what I teach. If you want to learn, now you have a good basics, and I gave you some good psychological tips. This is just the start of your journey. There's so much to learn. You cannot cheap out on your education. It will cost you far more in the long run. Trust me on that. I've seen too many people do it. This is the proper framework. This is your foundation for learning. Let's do this, and leave a comment if you're going to be a dedicated student. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.